For this video, we will talk about a tattoo artist's timeline. I'll walk you guys through what I went through before starting tattooing, during, and what I should be expecting afterwards, from the present day right now. So, before I even considered tattooing to be a viable career option and to make a career out of, I was just going through college kind of blindly, not really knowing what to do, but to fill expectations and you're just mindless high schooler, college student, just going through the education system because that's what you were trained to believe to do with your life. At some point, one of my friends decided to get a tattoo, and I tagged along and I went with him. It was a group of us, I think 5. I think 3 of them got tattoos, and one of them got an elephant of an outline. And in my opinion at the time and now, it was a horrible job. It was, clunky, it was thick, it was messy, it was done in such a lazy way, and, he was happy with it, and my friends were all, like, excited. We were, young high schoolers, so, whatever, it was a tattoo, so it was cool, right? And I took a look at it, I was like, this is garbage in my head. And he paid $60 for it, which was a lot of money for, kids like us. So, so what did I get from that? I got that standards were low. You can make money off of below mediocre work. And it got me thinking, like, I could do a way better job than that. Well, I didn't know for sure, but it was a hunch. And yeah, I think at the time, yeah, that really started to implant the idea in my head that, tattooing could be a possible job, but nothing really happened with me and tattooing until much later, when I was in a more of a depressed point in my life. When you're depressed, you tend to be open to new experiences and, just change it up, just do new things. So I decided to pursue an apprenticeship. Not because, because I wanted to tattoo, but B, just because I wasn't feeling right and I needed to do something. So that's what I did. I paid $3,000 because that was the, I guess, standard agreement between all the tattoo shops in the area to charge, new apprentices. So wherever I went in that neighborhood, it was $3,000. It's in Queens, by the way. I'm not gonna say which city because I don't want to reveal too much of my personal information. But $3,000, so I paid it. Got my foot in the door. The guy that apprenticed me was a cool dude. He let me come in and out of the shop, learn, bring my practice equipment and just do my thing. But he was a noticeably lazy guy, and to be even more critical or judgmental, I don't know, that laziness showed up in his tattooing as well. So all your faults, all your habits, good and bad, they all show up in your artwork, whether you like it or not. So if you're lazy, you better fix that. If you are, if any other bad qualities, you can read it in people's tattoos. So beware if that concerns you. So back on the topic, very lazy guy. Anyways, after about a year of practicing, he pointed me towards Jamaica, Queens to look for work because the foot traffic there is pretty high. And, I was pretty excited. I was like, all right. I went to Jamaica, Queens. Quickly found out I was the only Asian kid there. It's predominantly black, the name Jamaica, Queens. I found a couple shops. They were pretty sketchy until I found a really good one. Dragonfly 3, Dragonfly 2 and 3. Dragonfly 1 closed down. They had 3 locations. So yeah, when I stepped the foot in Dragonfly 3, which is 160th on the Jamaica Avenue, they're still there. They're really good. So I stepped foot in there, and immediately I went to the boss, and I asked him. I showed him my drawing portfolio and some of the stuff I've been practicing on with pigskin, and he told me to do one simple thing, which was to hand trace a stencil. He printed out a picture of a phoenix, illustrated phoenix, and told me to trace it on the stencil sheet. Back then, it's all done by hand stenciling. You get a ballpoint pen, and you just trace it. This is good because it trains your hand. Nowadays, there's a lot of automatic stencil machines like thermals and printers. They are great to save you time, and they're obviously machine is more accurate in printing a stencil than rendering with a ballpoint pen, but you miss out on that training. So anyways, I stenciled it. He immediately saw it. He saw potential. He told me to start coming in regularly, and he didn't charge me anything. So this was basically part 2 of my apprenticeship in a different shop. So because he didn't charge me, it was more of a agreement that I am loyal to him, because he's taking me under their wing and giving me their time and energy and resources and guidance. So yeah, and I was grateful until I had to leave, which was kind of like a shock to them, because that expected loyalty was still in their head, whereas in my head I needed to expand myself and leave the shop. So anyways, that's a different story. We're cool now. I still visit them sometimes. I should visit them more often. They're really good people, and they treat me like their tattoo son. I call them my tattoo mom and dad. Anyways, so yeah, so I got a free apprenticeship at this point. You can expect to get a free apprenticeship or a paid apprenticeship. So pay is more like less of a attachment to them, more business. Free is more they want you to be a part of their or they want you to do majority of the labor work that they don't want to do. So they're basically using you for your your labor, but they teach you, but they don't pay you. So you get the point. Anyways, so these Dragonfly 3, they actually teach me properly. They taught me a lot of necessary things as a legitimate tattoo artist. Whereas the previous apprenticeship, it was more so basics, but nothing more than that. Again, it was very lazy. So let's talk about where another person at this point of their life should be doing. So you don't have an apprenticeship, right? What should you do? You should be drawing. You should be drawing, and you should have a interest in tattooing and a actual drive to want to tattoo or draw to propel you forward. Otherwise, it'll just be painful to just keep on, doing this on your own energy. Because if you don't want to do something, you force yourself, you're gonna gas out real quick. So you gotta rely on a natural passion for this. So okay, you're drawing a lot, right? Can you get an apprenticeship? You could get an apprenticeship through paying, but if nobody's looking and you are stuck at a point where you want an apprenticeship but you can't get it because nobody's taking you in, or nobody has an interest in your potential, so what do? You should be drawing more. You should be practicing more until you have a solid portfolio, a drawing portfolio, where you increase your chances. So more shops take a look at you, be like, oh, okay, maybe I could have him or her as an apprentice. So if you're at a point where you can't get an apprenticeship because nobody's interested, you can't let that get you down. You have to keep drawing and working on yourself, because what's the alternative? You can give up. That's the only other option, is you give up, right? So if you really want it, you keep building yourself. There's always something for you to keep crawling and doing and clawing, It's either you go or you give up. That's the thing. And I get it. Sometimes, life gets you down, and I've been there. Yeah, so that's another thing. You gotta be stable in your life, or stable enough in your life to keep you going. Because if you have too many things bringing you down, then it's gonna be hard to do anything, let alone your career. You can't even make your bed or get out of bed. So you better have a healthy mind and a healthy life. And if you don't, you gotta work on it. You gotta do baby steps to clean up your life. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. And if you don't do that and you complain about it, I have no sympathy for you. So anyways, so that's the on this timeline, getting an apprenticeship. All right, cool. Let's say you got that apprenticeship. Let's say somebody is interested in your potential, or if they weren't, you worked until somebody was interested in your potential. Or you just found an apprenticeship that wanted you for your labor. Cool, okay, doesn't matter. You got an apprenticeship at this point. So you got an apprenticeship at this point. What do you do now? You need to submit yourself to their guidance. This is assuming, and hopefully, this is assuming that they are competent teachers and competent mentors. And if they aren't, you better find out quick if they are or not, because you can still benefit off of their guidance. You just gotta know when they're bullshitting or when they are being dickheads. Don't pay too much attention. Just look forward to the parts where they're actually helping you, because this is the point. You're doing this for yourself. You're supposed to exploit the situation. If you let that get to you, you're gonna miss out on that possibility for them to teach you. Whether they're good people or not, doesn't matter. If they're bad people, then just let them be bad people. That's gonna catch up to them. Hold your inner peace. Keep going on your own fire, and have a good solid mental in your head, and then okay, so you got the apprenticeship and you're able to learn from the mentors, right? You can also furthermore learn through the internet, through my videos, through other online videos that teaches tattoo tips or tricks or techniques or whatever. So you have a lot of resources at your disposal at this point, right? Another thing, you need to discipline yourself. You got to keep going. If your mentor is telling you to do something, you better do it, and more. Because again, this is your opportunity. You're exploiting your opportunity. If you're going to be lazy, that's on you. So do anything and everything you can. The more you do, the better you will be. The less you do, the less you'll be. If life is hard on you, it's been hard on me too at an early point in my life. So I get that laziness. I get that disconnect. Just don't let that stay around for too long. You have to. This is your one and only life. If you wanna squander it, fine. But we all have we're all dealt with shitty hands, and we gotta correct those parts and keep moving forward. So, back on track. So let's say you finish your apprenticeship at this point. You did your best and you are ready for your first tattoo. Whether you are ready for it or your mentor pushes you to do it because he believes you're ready. So let's go back to my experience. So my mentor, Mr. O, he pushed me to do my first tattoo. I wasn't ready. I was nervous as hell. I did a bird silhouette, 3 little bird silhouettes, very easy. I was really nervous. I was sweating a lot. My hands were shaking. The client I was tattooing on took notice of that, but she was really cool about it and even tipped me afterwards. But I did my best. I did a pretty good job for a shaky hand, nervous first timer, and it went well. I was pretty happy after that. I was a very nervous dude when I was younger, in high school, college. Very nervous guy, so it took a lot to be where I am today. So now at this point of the timeline, we finished our apprenticeship, right? Let's say we finished our apprenticeship, and now we're moving on to our first tattoos. What do we do at this point? So now we're ready to tattoo human skin. What is the thought process here, or what should you be doing / thinking at this point? Money should not be on your mind at this point. Even if times are tough. I don't know. Fortunately, I've never been in a situation where it was life or death situation, in terms of money. Maybe my mom and my dad definitely faced that as immigrant parents, and I don't want to go too much in the history of Chinese politics, but they've experienced some pretty harsh hardships moving to America, and even before moving to America when there was a reform. But they've had it much harder than me. Anyways, I developed at an early age a good habit of saving money. I was very frugal, and so money was never a problem. So I didn't have to worry about money. So what my point is, don't worry too much about money at this point. What you want to do is build your portfolio, because right now, let's say at that point in my career, I only had one tattoo under my name, one real legitimate tattoo on a person under my name. You got to tattoo, friends if they're willing to, and if they're okay with that quality of a beginner tattoo. Find your friends to tattoo for free. Find people who want free tattoos out there in the world. Might be sketchy, but this is your career that you want to build. You gotta really get at it. So that's what I did. I went on Craigslist. I found, I pitched myself. I'm a new tattoo artist. Here's my potential. Here's my drawing portfolio. If you want a free tattoo, come to this location and we'll do it. So, and plus, my mentor had walk-ins to do for me. It was, so I had both of those going for me. Even with both of those, some months very slow. So there will be seasons, and you gotta tank through some of those hard seasons. But yeah, you need to, and when you do tattoo these people, your beginner tattoos, you need to give more. So you should, let's say they purchase a tattoo and you are paid to do this tattoo. Find ways to do more. So give them a more valuable tattoo than they're paying you. You know why? They're going to be happy. And when they're happy, they talk to their friends, and their friends are going to come to you. This is how you build your portfolio. That's what I did. Tattoo is a unique thing, because once they have it on their skin, they have it forever. And people talk, they show their friends. Their friends will either say, "Oh, that's great," or "That's garbage." It either multiplies right there, or it cuts off right there. New potential customers, just by the way they interact with their friends or people who see what kind of tattoo that you gave them. So give. Keep giving. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about what you're paid to do. give more at this point. Even later on, giving is better. I keep doing this. I charge a lot more now, but that guilt still stays with me. I still want to give more than what I charge, because I don't know. It's just I just always forever feeling fucking guilty for no apparent reason. It's just the way my personality is built. I'm very agreeable. I'm very people pleaser. So that's the benefit of that personality type. But then the negative is people take advantage of you. So recently I've been very good at setting boundaries. So it's always an improvement game. Anyways, what is this part of the timeline? Yeah, build your portfolio. So let's say you've built a solid portfolio at this point. You have a lot of cool tattoos to show off. What are your options now? What kind of doors are opening up now, right? Well, at this point, I was in Dragonfly, and more people are coming to me. I've always had work there because these customers are happy and they're always returning, right? Now what? Now it feels like a career. It doesn't feel like an apprenticeship, or it doesn't feel like you're trying to build your portfolio to set off that career. Right now, you feel like you're actually in the career. So now what? So now are we did we make it to the finish line? No, we have not, because it's always an improvement game. So now what? Now you want to keep improving your skills. You want to further improve your creativity. You want to learn more techniques. You want to go bigger. You want to surround yourself with coworkers, or even general friends and families that push you, that motivate you. Why? So you can go even further. Because let's say you don't do that, you're gonna stagnate. You're gonna just plateau, and whatever you're making at that point, you're gonna keep making at that point, and it can only go down from there, because it's like you push up. It's always a slow down until you push up, and then it's slow down, and then you keep pushing. Or if you stay, you're just gonna keep going down, and then you're gonna realize, why the hell are things slowing down? You don't even know, because you just got comfortable. That's the scary part. Getting comfortable it's gonna screw you up, because pushing and further, improving, it's not easy to do. It's actually it's very exhausting sometimes, and you just feel like you never get to rest, because you keep constantly improving. But what's the alternative at this point? You will get comfortable. Your business will start slowly dying, because what's going to happen? Everybody who's actually hungry around you, they're going to get better. And the overall standard is going to get higher and higher and higher. And you're just stagnate. At that point, you don't want to improve, because you're lazy and you're comfortable. You're gonna fall. You're gonna get caught in the tide. You're never gonna keep your head above water like that. So at this point, you're constantly improving. And when you do constantly improve, more opportunities open. They will find you. You're not gonna find them. Well, you will, but mostly they find you, because you're working on yourself. And when you work on yourself, good things attract to you. And again, at the same time of working on your career, you are working on your home life. You are working on yourself. You're gonna work on your bad habits, your lazy habits. You go out too much to drink, or you smoke too much weed at home and end up wasting the day, or you jerk off to too much porn, or you eat too much and again waste the day. You gotta stop doing that, because those all hold you back, and they will hold you back from that tide, and then the tide is gonna rise, and then you're gonna fucking drown, because everybody else kept their head above, while you being immature, didn't do anything about it. Again, I'm going to say this again. I get that life is hard. Life is rough. But what's the alternative? Do you just want to say that? I mean, you have every reason to say that life is hard and you don't have to improve, right? Let's just say that. Let me just humor that. Fine. I don't want to bring up my personal life, but let's say a family member is critically ill. I got critically ill, or something traumatic happened. Do you just succumb to that? I know you have to grieve it. Obviously, you have to grieve that pain. But this has always been my issue, is to keep pushing forward, because I've been at that stagnation. I've been neck deep in horrible, stupid habits that hold me back, and just such a dark, dingy place in my head that everything is crumbling around you. Shit, if I kept going with that, I would not be here talking in this fucking camera. I'd be swept away in the whole coronavirus. Thank God I picked myself up at that point in my life, and I'm healthier now. And a big part of surviving the coronavirus is to be healthy, right? There's so many potential world events or world crisis or tragedies that can take you out if you're not prepared for life. This is not just for tattoos. This is for everything. So yeah, you're working on your career, but you're also working on yourself, and you're working on your life, and if you have enough energy, help work on those around you, your friends and your family. So let's say you improve now. Now you have a better opportunity to go to. Let's say another shop wants you, and they're paying you more, and they're in a nicer location, this and that, blah, blah, blah. What now? You have these options opening for you, because why? Because you were working on yourself this whole time, right? Good for you. You should be proud if you are doing that. And if you did do that, and that's what happened to you, you deserve every bit of that. Just don't lose your way. Don't lose your focus. Don't get cocky. Don't let anything get to your head. Because once it gets to your head, you're going to stagnate. And then what? Tide rises. Even at this point, even at this high of a point, tide still rises, and it's still going to catch you off guard. So don't be an idiot and let superficial things like fame and money get to your head. Why? Because it's all going to catch up to you. Cool. Let's say you move to the new shop, but now you got to sever ties with your old shop or your old company or whatever. That's going to hurt. That's going to destabilize you for a little bit, because cutting ties always hurt. Especially a good example is a breakup. They hurt like hell, but they rocket boost you forward, because that pain and that newfound discomfort, you can either succumb to it, or you can use that as fuel. So I broke up with my ex of 3 years at that point when I left Dragonfly. It was really rough time, but I remember the 2 years after that, I improved so much in those 2 years than the last 4 or 5. So these hard opportunities, these rough moments in your life, sometimes they're opportunities, Not all tragedies are, but most of it, they can really make you stronger, So use these uncomfortable moments in your life to propel you, Like I said, when I was uncomfortable and depressed enough to seek out that $3,000 apprenticeship, I'm pretty grateful to be at that point, low in that point in my life, to to make me go get that apprenticeship. Also breaking up with my ex. Pretty grateful to be in that dark place because that propelled me so much the next 2 years. So, alright, you severed ties, you went to a new shop, everything is new, you gotta adapt. And this new environment, these new people, these new rules, every shop has their own culture, these rules, and weird situations that apply to you. Goddamn, when I moved out of Dragonfly to Mischief, just dealing with the new people, I'm not gonna be too forgiving here. Some of these people, not that great. You know what happened? They got to me at some points. I remember I texted my sister. I was really, really distraught. And I texted her and I told her, I'm really feeling like shit. I wanna quit. I don't wanna be here anymore. She really did something special for me. She texted me something very motivational because she has been through hardship. She knows hardship like the back of her hand. I worry about her sometimes because she's taking on too much. But she knows enough to give me a text to help me move forward at that point, and so it got to me for a bit until she helped me and get out of my head, and they left, I stayed. So that's all you need to know. They left and I stayed. So you're gonna meet these shitty situations where you either crack under the pressure or you keep going. So, despite that, you keep moving forward and you keep building your career. You keep building your skills. You keep learning. You keep an open mind. Don't let anything get to you. Don't let ego, money, fame, your status, your newfound skills get to your head, because I hate people that let that get to their head. It's just they're not great to deal with. Don't let it get to your head. Keep going forward. Alright, so at this point in my life, I'm still hungry. I still want to improve. So during my time at Mischief, the boss, he was planning to open a second location, a higher end tattoo shop in another area, and this is where I will be fair. I'm new to this team, right? But my skills were exceptional. I know it and they knew it, whether they want to admit it or not, and I would never admit it because, I'm not that type. I mean, I know it. I flaunt it in my own way, because what am I supposed to do? Not believe in myself? No, I know my worth. Everybody should know their worth. But I don't let it bleed into my interactions with people. You gotta stay humble. So I got a spot in that new shop because, the boss sees potential in me and sees me with, as a good for his business to make money. But these, the older coworkers, they've been there. They've shown their loyalty by being there for that long. It was like a year open prior to me joining them, but still, they have some sort of seniority over me. So why do I get that position over them? As a boss, as a tattoo shop owner, there's a lot of things like that. So I really feel for them in terms of balancing everything that comes with being a shop owner. Balancing your artists' pay, opportunities you give them, loyalty, potential. It's hard. But again, I got a spot because I worked on myself. I am great with customers. I'm not a nasty person because again, how did I get here? I don't let anything get to my head. I'm constantly working on myself, staying humble, you know? That bleeds into your character as well. And when you interact with people, people pick we're all animals. We pick up on everything whether we consciously know it or not. So all that gave me that opportunity to land a secure spot in that new shop, right? So yeah, you're gonna have haters, you're gonna have envy, you're gonna have competition, you're gonna have supporters, you're gonna have people giving you opportunities, there's gonna be people who try to keep you from these opportunities. So cool. Alright, now at this point I'm at this new shop, Blind Reason, right? Things are going great. This is a higher end scale. The customers now, they have more money, right? More money means, higher rates, higher minimum. But you have to balance that with the market. So if you charge yourself too high, people are not going to want to purchase any tattoos from you. Maybe a few, but again, like I said from the beginning, it's better to give more, charge less, so you have more work, because this is the long run. We're not thinking short term here. We're thinking long term. The more you give, the longer term you're gonna last. And I always have that in the back of my head. Even now, you email me, you find out the prices, you're gonna be like, oh shit, that's fucking expensive. And I'm wrestling with that idea right now. I'm trying to give more for what I'm charging now, or go less. And I have gone less because I felt it out. It was too much. So constantly on that balance there. So Blind Reason. We are now at a higher end. We can charge more. There are more customers that can pay more money, but we are never losing sight of our constantly improving skill and passion for tattoos and art itself. So that's always been number one. The moment you put money ahead of that, or fame ahead of that, you just basically traded long term for short term. And whether you know it or not, that is on you. You have to constantly screen yourself, your mind, because this is not a conscious thing most of the time. Money, fame, all these other temptations, they come to you, they possess you, and they tease you, they latch onto you in the most subtle ways, and you have to constantly take a step back, step out of your body, look at yourself from head to toe, and find out what sort of temptations and undesirable, things are taking a hold of you. You have to constantly do that. And if you don't, before you know it, you are a slave to money. You are a slave to clout. You are a slave to lust. You are a slave to anger. Everything. Everything gets to you. This is for tattoos, and this is for your life. So constantly screening yourself, constantly focused, constantly improving, but never letting it get to your head. Now, after Blind Reason, things got a little too much for me at that point. I felt like I outgrew that place. I outgrew it because I was working on myself this entire time. So this next part of my career, it's a big step, but also a misstep at the same time, because I opened up a shop, I opened up my own place in the New York City Wyndham Hotel, the 6th floor. They had the whole floor was dedicated to renting out small businesses. You'll see um, uh, chiropractors, I don't know, eyelash extenders, all that shit. And my old coworker was there too. He put me on that place, and he got me a spot there. Talking to the manager there, shady motherfucker. But again, whatever. Fucking got me a place there. Cool. Maybe he changed now. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But at the time, yeah, he wasn't the most honest guy. Let's just say that much. So yeah, now I am operating my own place in a hotel at the New York City Wyndham Hotel. So instead of a percentage base, I get 100%. I just got to deal with record keeping. I got to deal with, sanitation. I got to deal with setting up the shop. I got to deal with rent and all that other stuff that comes with operating your own private studio. But that 100% commission, you keep everything, there's nothing else like that. That's so much money for yourself. You don't got to pay percentage to anyone. So at this point, in hindsight, money got a hold of me. I really wanted to open my own place at that point because that 100%, man, it was really something. So I opened it, right? I operated it for half a year before COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I terminated my lease early because of the COVID situation. It was legal. Otherwise, I had to pay the entire second half of that year, which was a lot of money. Anyways, so I got all that money. I had the absolute joy of setting up my space with everything up to me, my own rules. I'm my own boss. I can decorate it however I want. I step into that room. It's my office. It's my store. It's my everything. So that was a great part of it. What was the misstep? I feel like I was not ready at that point. It was sort of a rush. Why? Because after 3 months, it was so lonely in there. After a client leaves, I open the TV and I just get back to my lazy habits. It's like I'm at home. I don't want to be at home. I don't want to be at that point in my life back in high school where I was just a lazy bum. Quickly realized that, grinded out another 3 months, and thankfully I got to terminate that lease when COVID hit. So yeah, that was a learning lesson for me. I actually got a lot out of it. I learned how to, set everything up for your own personal business. I got to, buy furniture, all the logistics, moving. It really builds you as a person to take on responsibility like that. So yeah, after COVID hit, everybody was on lockdown, and yeah, when everybody was on lockdown, there was like a worldwide depression. Again, just like when I said, what motivated me to get that $3,000 apprenticeship, and when I broke up with my ex of 3 years, and all the way till now, where I'm in COVID lockdown, depressed. That same depression propelled me to message Ava, because she posted that she was opening her own shop. And prior to messaging her, I knew her. I never met her. I never talked to her, but I knew the kind of person she was based on her posts, what she posted and what she didn't post. You get a lot of information from people just by what they put out, whether it's their art, whether it's their writing, whether it's their social media, whether anything. So that trust was a big part of it. So I texted her hey, can I work for you? Um, are you hiring? And at this point, my portfolio is more than enough. So everything that led up to this point for a reason, just because I kept building myself and I never lost sight of what I wanted to do, which is just be a better tattoo artist constantly. Not money, not fame. Even though Ava's shop can bring me more money and more fame, that was not the point. It was just because she was a good person, and I just want to be around good people that don't bring me down. That's all I wanted. So we agreed to set up a lunch meeting to talk about the potential job opportunity. And I had my doubts, I don't know her anything any more than just social media. So I came in there with expectations, but also a healthy distrust of, what might go wrong. So it was me, Doug, and Doug is the manager of Atelier Ava, and Ava. So we sat down. That's when I first met Doug. Just like me, nervous but very easy to talk to, very passionate about what he's doing, and we clicked immediately. He's such a good dude, and then Ava later came by. She was late. She was so cool and fashionably late. No, she had stuff to do, and sat down. Told me. At that point, my lease still wasn't terminated with the hotel, and she even offered me to pay for the rest of my lease. That was the first, whatever opposite of red flag. That was a let's say green flag. That was the first green flag. Okay, we talked some more. I told her I might be able to terminate it, so let's hold on here. I could, so at this point, let's say this situation, I could easily take advantage of her kindness. She was willing to pay for that shop. I could take up her offer, let her pay for that lease. I can have my hotel shop and work for her. I could sneak people into my hotel shop and tattoo them for 100% commission, all the while working for her at her new shop. Doesn't that mean more money? Obviously that means more money. Why did I not do it? Because that's lying. You never lie. The moment you lie is the moment you fuck with reality. You just fuck with the fabric of the universe, of life. You don't ever fucking lie. If you do, even at the smallest amounts, it's gonna catch up to you. You go ahead and do it. You lie to yourself. You lie to others. It's gonna fucking catch up to you. That's all I can say. So, at this point, I could easily have taken advantage of it, right? But I didn't, because my mind is straight. I know my path. I know what's right and what's wrong. My moral compass is tuned very well. It's tuned very well. Why? Because of years and years and years of staying away from lying. Because I was in such a deep, dark place in my life, filled with lies to myself, to others, and I don't ever want to get back to that fucking place ever again. So I know now what not to do, right? So I told her, hey, I might be able to terminate the lease on my own, but so okay, we keep talking. We're still at the lunch here, right? We keep talking, and then I told her about my distresses, where just so many tattoo shops and owners nowadays, they're just filled with red flags. Like they want you for their own personal greedy benefits. My potential is so much at that point, and even now, I'm gonna be cocky here. I can make any tattoo shop owner a lot of fucking money. But do I want to make that much money for any tattoo shop owner? No, I want to make it for the right person that is going to be a good person, that's going to benefit me mutually as I benefit them. In my mind at that point, Ava was that person, but again, I wasn't sure of it. So I picked her brain as she picked my brain. I told her, like, hey, I still have the hotel. I don't have to be here, Basically, I'm telling Ava that I'm not married to the idea of working for her just yet, just to see what she's gonna say. And she said, okay, if you want to go, you can go. See, that sort of indifference was another green flag for me, because it meant that she didn't fully rely on me for her business. She had her own self-reliance. She had that confidence. You need that kind of fucking confidence in a leader. Let's say that shop owner or that potential leader put all of their bets onto me. Now I feel all that pressure. Of course, I have a lot of sway because all of that reliance is on me, right? I have a lot of sway in this. I can manipulate. I don't want to manipulate people. I want to grow with them. I don't want to take advantage of them and me only grow. Right? So that was it. She had her own self-reliance, whereas I had my own self-reliance, and together we can build. If she didn't have that, or I didn't have that, it would not be, the potential would not be the same. So I can't remember, but there was also many other questions, but basically the situation got me so excited. I was getting really loud in that little cafe, and I can see the waitresses, they were looking at us and smiling, because I was just like, I was preaching the way I am in this video now. I was just telling her everything, like, oh my God, like life's getting me down, there's this and that. But then, just the fact that everything she was saying, everything was clicking, and there were so many green flags that I was excited. I was just happy. So we finished that. She gave me a hug. I shook Doug's hand, and we went on our separate ways. And for the first couple of months, she was struggling to get the place finished with construction because of the whole COVID thing, right? So we tattooed out of a temporary spot. Again, I'm not a superficial person. We could be tattooing out of a basement. It wouldn't matter, because it's with Ava and with good people, and the potential to move to the shop when it's done with construction. I didn't see it as an issue, but I can tell she was constantly worried that it might be putting me off. Not one moment was I put off by that. I think she knows, but I just want to say that on video. And if I was superficial, I would have been like, hey, why the fuck am I tattooing here? I'm worth more than this. I need to be blah, blah, blah. Just fucking stupid shit. But thank God I'm not like that. And you shouldn't be like that. Nobody should ever be like that. And I get that, life is tricky, and it's never a straight black and white thing. You can get influenced with these little demons, let's say, in the most unsuspecting corners, and then before you know it, you care about that stuff. Let's say, even in the best way possible. I could have been like, this is dirty, I need to move away, but it's okay. I didn't care. And I get that sometimes life gets to you, and it's never always on the right path. People stumble, I stumble. I can make a video of the times I've stumbled, just to highlight, this is a stumbling process, not a easy walk to the path of enlightenment, let's say. So we tattooed out of a temporary spot for a couple months, and she was more than accommodating. She gave me a big percentage of the cut during the time we were at the temporary spot, just to make me feel, like I'm not losing out. It's very generous of her, and I don't take her generosity for granted. I work hard. I give. I do a lot for her, and I trust. The most important thing is I trust her, and I still trust her, and she still trusts me, because she never once asked me, like this or that. Like, have you been doing this? Have you been doing that? Like I bring in friends sometimes, and I tattoo them for free. I could easily charge them under the table and collect money right under Ava's nose, but I don't. And this is just me saying it. It doesn't. Talk is cheap. Everything is shown through action and the way your energy comes off. If I was lying to her, she would have sniffed it from the start, because my energy would be off. Humans are like that, especially people who don't have a lot of darkness in their hearts, or overcame that darkness. They've been through it, so they know exactly how to sniff it out. I can tell you, I can sniff shit out easy, because I've been in it. You gotta be real with yourself to know when you conquer your demons. You can see these demons in everyday life easily, because you've conquered them, because you didn't ignore them. If you ignore them, you turn a blind eye to these demons, then you can't see these demons all around you. So if you face them, and it's hard facing them, you conquer them, and what do you gain? You gain a new eye to see these sneaky motherfuckers, sneaky little demons. You see them everywhere. But just because I can see them now, I'm not gonna let it get to my head. I'm constantly, it's always like this. It's always like this. Improve, never let it get to your head. Improve, never let it get to your head. Improve, etc. So yeah. 1 year. So 1 year. I'm still looking ahead. I'm still improving. I'm still not letting things get to my head, or to the best of my ability, not to let these things get to my head constantly. Hopefully this insight will give you some guidance on your path, wherever on that timeline you may be. You may even be ahead of me and watching this, and I guess maybe even it still relates to you in thinking back on the past. But thank you for listening. That helped me get a lot of stuff off my mind, even at this point in my life. One wrong turn can just make everything crumble, make my entire life crumble. So you have to be scared shitless of these demons, these potholes, these horrible influences that they look nice, but they're very sinister in the end. So yeah.